15 Crazy Animal Mating Rituals. Number 15. Front-whited parrots. While white-fronted parrots may well be the only non-human species to engage in kissing, they add a unique approach to the process that would surely not go over well if the human were to do it. The mating pair will essentially make out as they lock their beaks together and flick their tongues together. If this make-out session goes well, the male will then make his move and affectionately vomit in the female's mouth. Number 14. Hippo. Hippos have a uniquely disgusting way of attracting female mates. A male hippo's idea of seduction includes waiting until the desired female is watching him, and then proceeding to crap and piss everywhere all at the same time. As an added maneuver to ensure the female gets the full effect of this fecal and urinary display, the male begins to spin his tail around, making sure to spread out the poo and its smell. Apparently, this seduction method is very effective as the female hippo finds the display irresistible and he is ready to go. Number 13. Honeybee. Apparently, not even fear of death or the loss of his penis is enough to keep a male honeybee away from a sexually mature queen bee. While the queen will have sex multiple times, essentially every few seconds, the unfortunate male will only have sex once in his life. This is because when the male ejaculates, which takes about 1 to 2 seconds, his testicles explode with such force that not only does his semen shoot into the female, but so does his penis. The trauma of having his penis break off leaves the bee paralyzed, and he is ejected from the hive and left to die. Number 12. Banana slug. While banana slugs might have their penises so large they'd make any human male jealous, their mating ritual itself certainly wouldn't. Banana slugs can have a penis as long as their body, or even 5 times longer than their body. This endowment can actually be difficult to deal with, as a slug must find a mate big enough to fit their extensive unit. If the poor slug miscalculates and chooses a mate too small, the mate will actually chew off the slug's penis to size it accordingly. Number 11. Anglerfish. One hookup the female can't afford to regret is that of the anglerfish. Evidently, the male anglerfish is only useful for one thing, and his life depends on being able to fulfill that purpose. The male's anglerfish is so small that they are incapable of surviving on their own, and will actually die if they don't find a female to mate with, and thus live off of as a parasite. Short on time, the male must find a female, bite into her flesh, and release an enzyme that will digest the skin of his mouth and her body in order to fuse them together. The male is then fully dependent on the female for survival, as she provides him with nutrients through their now shared circulatory system. In return for keeping him alive and fed, the female gets the male sperm so she can reproduce. Number 10. Snail. Not surprisingly, snail mating is a slow process, but don't be fooled as it's anything but dull. The hermaphrodite, meaning they both have male and female reproductive organs, snails begin with a bit, or rather a lot, of foreplay. Their foreplay involves circling each other, touching tentacles, and biting each other. This causes hydraulic pressure into the organs and sinus to build up, and after anywhere from 15 minutes to 2 hours, this buildup causes them to suddenly shoot a love dart filled with sperm at their mate. The only problem is these love darts are extremely sharp and can often kill one or both of the mating snails. If the snails survive, they'll keep at this risky process until both snails have been fertilized with each other's sperm. Once that has occurred, all that's left to do is for the snail to secrete a poisonous chemical to kill off its own sperm to ensure fertilization is done by that of its mate. Number 9. Squid. Yet another one some humans might be slightly jealous of is the ridiculously intense stamina of the squid. It all starts with teams of squid continuously circling a spawning bed area that can be as large as 200 meters across. When sunrise arrives, the squid begin to mate, and they'll keep mating all day long, stopping only briefly for the female to dive down and deposit her eggs. Finally, dusk arrives, and they'll take a break and head offshore to eat and get some much-needed rest. Hopefully the rest is sufficient, because come sunrise, they're ready to go again and return to the spawning bed for another full day of lovemaking. According to scientists, this routine will go on for up to 2 intense and presumably exhausting weeks. Number 8. Quolls. The mating rituals of quolls goes beyond disturbing and makes one wonder how the species have survived. The females all go into heat at the same time every spring, causing the apparently sex-deprived males to go on a frenzied rampage. The males will quickly grab any mate within reach by the neck and drag them off caveman style. The male will keep the female for a mating session that will last anywhere from 3 hours to a full day. This lengthy session is required due to the low sperm count male quolls release one at a time, meaning they have to ejaculate numerous times to increase their chances of impregnating their mate. Far from a pleasurable experience for the female, the males are ruthlessly violent to the point where many females are killed during the mating process. If the female does die, the angry male will eat her before moving on to his next target. Perhaps as karma for their aggressive behavior, many of the males expel so much energy during mating that they lose weight and only a few short weeks after their sexual exploits will start losing their fur and die. Number 7. Blanket octopus. From brutally violent to a mating ritual the female barely notices. The blanket octopus has a fairly tame mating process, although it too ends with the death of the male shortly afterward. Like other species of octopus, the blanket octopus has a sex organ resembling its other tentacles. The male octopus is about 40,000 times smaller than the female, and it appears as though his sole purpose is to provide a female with sperm. When a female swims by, the male will detach its penis tentacle and attach it to the female before swimming off to die. The tentacle will then crawl along the female to her gill slit, where it will stay until her eggs are mature. Once the eggs are ready, the female will rip open the sperm pack and disperse the sperm over her eggs. By the time this occurs, the male sperm donor is likely already dead. Number 6. Bedbugs. What could be less sexy than bedbugs? Bedbugs mating. Apparently, trying to take the time to find the female's reproductive organs is just too much work for male bedbugs. Instead, they lazily opt to stab the female in the stomach and release sperm and leaves into the wound. Their sperm then finds its way into the female's bloodstream, where it travels into waiting sperm receptacles and eventually to her ovaries. Number 5. Red-sided garter snakes. No one likes massive orgies like the red-sided garter snake does. When spring arrives, tens of thousands of snakes emerge from their limestone caves, and after the long winter hibernation, the sexually deprived snakes engage in an intense competition to mate. The male snakes emerge first and anxiously await the females. When a female emerges, she is instantly swarmed by hundreds, even thousands of males, forming a large ball around her as they all try to be the first one to mate with her. Once a lucky male has successfully managed to mate with the female, her body secretes a hormone that confirms the mating is complete, and the males move on to another female. Even more strange is when a male pretends to be a female in order to be swarmed by hordes of males on purpose. Number 4. Water spiders. Apparently having sex in a safe, cozy environment is just too dull for the thrill-seeking water spiders. A unique insect known for their ability to walk on water, it's the males who evidently like to add a hint of danger to their mating session. During mating, the male will tap his legs on the water surface in a way that deliberately attracts predatory fish. According to scientists, the males likely add this element of danger as it prompts the female to mate quickly and give him what he wants or face becoming fish food. Number 3. Bowerbirds. No one knows how to impress a lady like a male bowerbird. In order to get away from the very picky female bowerbirds, a male must first impress her by building an elaborate love nest called bowers. The male will build surprisingly sturdy towers, tunnels, and archways out of just about anything and everything he can find. Some birds include 2 towers that are connected by a roof-covered bridge, while some include a beautifully manicured lawn made out of moss. Some eager to please males even paint the inside of their bower by chewing up birds and spreading them on a leaf he then uses as a paintbrush. When a male bird finally finishes his love mansion, he calls out to any females in the area to come and check it out. If a female is impressed, the two will go inside and get down to business. Despite the work the male put into the bower, once mating is over, he will discard it as it served its purpose. Number 2. Bonobos. Surely some humans with our society treated sex as casually and prominent as bonobos do. To bonobo monkeys, a sex is common as shaking hands or even passing smiles. The zealous monkeys use sex as a greeting to form social bonds, to start conflict, to end conflict, and to even reconcile after conflict. In fact, they ensure sex for just about any reason, even to celebrate finding food. Perhaps not surprisingly, given their hefty sex drive, they're also not very picky about who they mate with, as age or gender don't seem to be factors. The only pairing that won't mate is mothers and their adult sons. Number 1. Fur seal sexual assaulting penguins. Scientists are a little stumped about an unusual sexual behavior they are seeing some fur seals in Antarctica carry out. The seals in question have been caught on video forcefully mating or attempting to mate with penguins. Scientists first saw this peculiar behavior in 2006, but have since recorded 3 other incidents. In each incident, the predatory seal chased down the penguin, captured it, and proceeded to mount it as it attempted intercourse with it. Scientists believe that in some of the incidents, the seal was successful in penetrating the penguin. If that's not disturbing enough, while in 3 of the incidents, the seal released the penguin when the sexual act was done, one of the seals killed and ate its victim.
Subscribe for more videos.